Welcome again. This lesson is over percent. However, this lesson deals with percent of increase and percent of decrease. Let's look at our number routine. Mr. Joe is at Claire's. He bought an LL bracelet for $20. The discount is 30% off. Nice. What is the discount? What's the new sale price? The tax rate is 8%. How much tax did he pay? What is the final cost? Many things to look out at. So we're going to break it down into little parts. So the first thing is the bracelet costs $20, 30% discount. How would you like to solve this? Would you like to solve it using a table? Would you like to solve it using a picture? Or would you like to solve it using mental math? Many ways to solve it. If you're going to solve it using a table, how would you write 30% as a fraction? 30 out of 100. So the bottom represents the total. So the total price of the bracelet is $20. How do you break down $100 to $20? Divide by 5, divide by 5. So $6 discount. If you're going to solve it using mental math, $20 a bracelet, 10% is $2. To build it to 30%, you times it by 3, it would be $6. So 100% is $20. How do you break it down to 10%? Divide by 10. 20 divided by 10 is 2. How do you build it from 10 to 30? Times it by 3, $6. So if this bracelet costs $20 and its discount is $6, the new sale price is $14. Now it's time to find the tax. If 100% is $14, 10% is $1.40 or 1.4 because you divide by 10. What would 1% be? To break it down from 10% to 1%, you divide by 10. So what is $1.40 divided by 10? 14 cents. Now how do you build 1% to 8%? Times 8. So what is 14 cents times 8? 8 times 4 is 32, carry the 3. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 3 is 11. So it's $1.12 in tax. So if the new sale price is $14 and the tax is $1.12, the final cost is $15.12. So discuss with your group how these problems are alike and how they are different. Of the 36 students in a let's make it right here. Discuss with your group how these problems are alike and how they are different. Be prepared to share. Of the 36 students in the art class, 9 students chose to paint still life for their next project. What percent chose still life? B. There were 36 students for this first day of how to paint art class. For the next class, there were 9 students. What was the percent of decrease? So how are they alike? Well, first of all, they're both bio students. They both have 36 students. They both use the number 9 students. That's alike. They both are talking about percent. But how are they different now? What makes them different? Oh, this one is asking for the percent who chose still life. This one says percent decrease. In this one, it's asking what percent chose still life out of 36. And this one shows they started with 36 and then now there's only 9. So it's like it decreased, it dropped. Well, today we're going to be learning something called percent of increase or percent of decrease. What percent did it grow or what percent did it deduct? So we're going to do, first of all, number tiles. Everybody needs 5 tiles. So take out 5 tiles. What percent represent each tile if the rectangle equals 100%? So if this is 100%, what percent would each tile be? 20%. So if I add another tile and each tile is the same percent, which is 20%, how will the percent change? First of all, is it increasing or is it decreasing? Well, the size is increasing. It increased by 1 tile. So what percent did it increase by? Well, if this is 100%, this must be 120%. So it must have increased from 120% from 100%, must have increased by 20%. But how can I do it more mathematical? Well, first of all, here it had started, its original tile was 5 tiles. Then it started with 6 tiles. So 5 tiles, 6 tiles. So is it increasing or decreasing? It's increasing by 1. So it changed by 1. And how many tiles are how many tiles are in the original picture? 5. So how can I turn this change, a percent and decrease, into a percent, 100? How do you build it from a 5 to 100? Times 20 times 20. So there's a 20% increase. That's another way to do it. So let me show you, if you cannot read my handwriting, right here. It changed by 1 tile. Out of 5 tile is the original start. Original. So 1/5 is 20%. Take out 4 tiles. What percent represents each tile if the rectangle equals 100%? Hopefully you said each tile represents 25%. So what happens if I add 3 more tiles and each tile is the same percent? How will the percent change? So if each tile represents 25%, how did it change? Did it increase or did it decrease? It increased by what percent? 25, 25, 25. So it increased by 75%. How can I solve that mathematical now? First of all, how did it change by? We started with 4 tiles. Now we have 7 tiles. So it changed by 3 tiles. There's an increase of 3 tiles. And how many tiles did we start from? The original one was 4 tiles. Do you know what percent is 3/4 times 25 times 25? 75% increase. Last but not least, take out 10 tiles. What percent represents each tile if this rectangle equals 100%? Each tile would be 10%. So let's do this, 10%. Each tile represents 10%. If I take away 4 tiles and each tile is the same percent, how would the percent change? Well, I'm taking it out, so it is decreasing. It decreased, but by what percent did it decrease? It went from 100% to 60%, so it decreased by 40%. So how can we do it with percent, with tiles? There are 10 tiles here and there's 6 tiles. How did the tiles change by? The number of tiles changed by 4. There's a decrease of 4 tiles. What was the original picture? 10 tiles. How can you change 4/10 into a percent? Times 10 times 10, 40, 100, or 40%. So let's do it now without using percent or fraction bars. There were 36 students for the first day of a how to paint art class. For the next class, there were 9 students. What was the percent of decrease? So how is it changing? It started with 36, that's a lot of students. And then went down to 9 students. So each square represents a student. So how would you describe the change? It went from 36 to 9. That means if you subtract this, that means it is a decrease of 27 students. So it changed by 27, changed by 27. But how many students did it originally start with? 36. Can you turn this fraction 2736 into a percent, 100%. Can we do a side-to-side relationship? Not really. Up and down? No. Why don't we simplify? What could I divide both of these by? By 9. 3/4. Oh, that's 75%. So it went down from 30, it started at 36 students, it went down to 9 students. It was a decrease of 75%. So we're going to practice 2 more questions. Paul is at Macy's. He noticed that his shirt went from $20 to $16. What was the percent of decrease? So it decreased in price. So now we need to figure out what was the percent of decrease. So price-wise, how did it decrease by? It decreased $4. But what was the original price? 20. How would you turn this into a percent? Times 5 times 5. It is a decrease of 20%. It went down 20%. You might say, I don't get it. So what is 10% of 20? 2. What's 20%? 4. So it went down 4. The membership at the film club increased from 24 members to 30 members. So it increased. How did it increase? It increased by 1, 2, 3, 4, by 6 members. But it started at 24. So what percent did it increase by? Do you want to do a side-to-side relationship or up and down? How do you turn a 24 to a 6? Divided by 4. Divided by 4. So it's a 25%. Wait. Stop. Yep. Yeah. Wait. It increased from 24 to 30. So yeah, it increased from 24 members to 30 members. So it went up by 6 members. Yep. Yep. So let's check our work. 6, 3, 4, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. So as you can tell, what percent did it increase by? It went up by 25%. And last question, during a thunderstorm, the outdoor temperature went from 88 to 77. How did it decrease? It decreased from 88 to 7. It decreased a temperature of 11 degrees. The original temperature was 88. So what percent did it decrease? Can we do a side-to-side? Let's do an up and down relationship. Divide by 8. Divide by 8. What is 100 divided into 8 groups? 100 divided 8 groups goes in 1 time, 2 times, annex a 0. Okay, so it decreased 12.5%. So what we are learning today is percent of increase, decrease. You have to figure out how is it changing by out of the original number. And that is how you do percent of decrease. Oh, I'm sorry, we have one last question. So John made a score of 42. On the second test, he got an 84. Describe his change, his percentage change. Well, first of all, he increased his grade. By how much? He increased his grade by 42 point change. Out of, what was the original grade? 42. So 42 to 42, how do you turn this to 100%? Divide by 1, divide by 1, 100% is the answer. And that is percent of increase and decrease.